European market. Got some mid-level news going on with the Euro, Spanish PMI, Italian PMI. Got some manufacturing PMI for the pound. Bunch of high-level pound stuff to look for. It's going to be starting here pretty soon, and then so this is going to be a lot of stuff to look at if you wanted to day trade it or whatever. Continuing all the way through to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then dollar news picks up at that time with some high-level news from unemployment claims, some manufacturing PMI, and then at the end of the day there's some Aussie news around 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right, so that's the news for you. Boom on the. Let me bring this chart over from the other screen. Okay, so dollar index. Bulls are currently in charge on this. It's been going kind of sideways for the last I don't know, this last week or so, coming off this this downtrend. So possibly looking to head back to the upside. Had a higher high right here the day before, but now we've got this engulfing candle. So kind of waiting to see what happens with this. It's kind of a nice pivot if this decides to continue to the upside. Based on, well, at the very least, got some supply lines here. So definitely some room to go up to definitely some room to go up to 82, but based on the fact that it's an overall uptrend, it could just continue to the upside and you know, continue all the way up to a new higher high. But again, it's kind of going sideways right now, so kind of let's see what happens with that. Okay, so that's the daily, and the weekly looks kind of the same deal. You know, it's forming, get a confirmation candle, form a pivot, then that'll be an indicator on the weekly. It's going to return to the upside, and that's the dollar index chart. I'm going to go to this site. You guys can still see my screen, right? Anybody? Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. Big old black screen. All right, here we go. Dow Jones. Currently, it's got a higher high, you know, a historical higher high. However, a lot of selling pressure keeping the price down. It is coming off of a bit of a pivot, but you've got 3 days of bearish movement coming off of kind of some sideways movement. So it's kind of a waiting game to see if it's going to be ready to continue back to the upside. Overall trend is up, and it's currently kind of pinging off of this area of supply. Like I said, just kind of consolidating in this area. So anybody's guess where it's going to go next. It might continue down a little bit further to maybe a lower low, and then continue back up to the upside. So let's see what happens with that in the Dow and the S&P. I'm going to guess it's looking fairly similar. Yeah, it is looking fairly similar too. Like I said, it might not be a new high, but definitely got this inverted hammer. A lot of sellers keeping the price down in this area of consolidation. So that's the indexes. And so stock futures, index futures are in the green for the U.S. and either close to flat or in the green for the Euro, and pretty heavily in the green for the Asian market. So I'm saying it's going to go up. Let's see what happens with that. So that's the macros for that stuff. Let me pull up charts here. So I don't know if everybody's in the cab, but I'm not going to do that one. Uh, hmm. Let's see here. The dollar. Something you can actually day trade. Okay. We'll do the pound dollar. Look at the weekly real quick. Okay. So the pound dollar, the weekly is the bears are currently in charge right now. Got a pretty strong bearish bar coming off of a swing high pivot. The overall trend is down. Let's see here. Yeah. So these series of lower lows and lower highs indicates a downtrend, and this upward retracement right here was was short-lived, and it's probably going to continue down to the downside, and so that candle's not finished yet, so just like leave it there. So chances are that this pivot right here is an indication that's going to continue downside, and it's going to definitely touch on this this area of demand. Right, actually, there's probably a better area of demand right here, but since it is in a downtrend, it's more than likely going to break this area right here. If it chooses not to, if it chooses to touch on this, then it might continue back up to this secondary trend line, and then probably continue back down to this area of demand down here. But it is in an overall downtrend, so chances are that's going to continue on the downside. And just look at the daily. Okay, it's got a currently it's got a downtrend. Bunch of consecutive bearish bars here. Bears are currently in charge in this forming bar right now. Yeah, these trend lines are, these demand lines are still valid for this chart. Let's see here. Yeah, it broke that one right there. So the trend is down also on the daily, and especially since this low right here decided to break this low right there. So, and then you've got lower highs right here, cleaving this up a little bit, okay. And add a trend line here. Okay, so it's still pretty strong to the downside in this current trend, so I believe that it will continue down to this area of demand. There's a possibility that it might do a small retrace to the secondary trend line here, or it'll just continue down beyond this this area of demand to this this next area of demand, and more than likely, since it is in the downtrend, it'll test this previous lower low. So it's still going pretty strong to the downside. As for an M1 of any kind on this one for the daily, I don't see it until it gets down to this area of demand right here, and then maybe some kind of pivot or whatever. So with regards to an M1, this is it's not ripe for the picking. Let me go ahead and bring up 4 charts here. Okay, so no M1 on that, and there is no M2 currently for the daily. Even though it's getting close to oversold, there's no M2 candle set up. And if we go to M3, let's see here, look in the daily, M3. The 2N would have been right here on this previous yesterday's candle. Pretty far from the moving average, but again, that's your in. So there's no setup for a daily M3. And go to 4 hour. Okay. Yeah, and a lot of movement to the downside. So if you'd gotten in way up here, yeah, if you'd gotten up here on this candle right there, then you'd be in the money on that one to the downside. And I don't know. Heck, let's look at the 1 hour. Why not? Yeah, again, okay, so there's no setup for the M3 on the 1 hour. You want me to pick 2 pairs, right? And going back to just real quick, going back to let's see here, either the M3s or just one of the 4-hour chart. You could possibly trade this in the news in the morning when all that Euro news comes out, and maybe play off of a possible pivot that forms off of it or something like that. But that is it for that. Let's pick a dollar pair. Dollar yen, sure, why not? Okay, it's got a bunch of old stuff here. Okay, so on the weekly on the dollar yen, currently the buyers are in control of this candle. They're pushing it up. It's a bit of a hammer, if you will, kind of forming, and so a little bit of indecision. But again, the buyers are pushing it up. The overall trend is up, and you know, this could form into a pivot. There's no confirmation, so on the weekly, you know, it'd be interesting to see what comes next. Maybe a higher low, and then and that would just be more indication of more movement to the upside, especially it's kind of touching on this 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Not even sure. Not sure what the heck this one is. Well, anyways, 4 trend lines, uptrend lines. So if it doesn't, I mean, it's in an uptrend. If it decides to break this trend line right here, chances are though that it'll still retrace and be above these this low right there. And so it's the weekly, and moving to the daily. Okay, and the daily, bulls got it right now. It is coming off of a pivot. It'd be nice to see maybe a higher high right here for a nice strong pivot, but it's pretty close to this primary. Clean this up a little bit. This primary trend line, and let's see here. Got some levels of demand there. Some levels of demand. Yeah, so good level of demand right there, and so this could be an opportunity to it's an uptrend, an opportunity to get in on this movement. You know, possibly a continuation of the trend up to, clean these up a little bit, up to some of these, up to this. Let's see here. Yeah, this area of demand right here. So good area for targets. Let's see here. Okay, maybe a little bit of confluence there. Zoom in there. Okay. So, you know, kind of, you know, missed a lot of movement in this candle, but there's still some opportunity for some profits and gains in here. You know, 50 or 60. I guess you could even really, these pivots are kind of this movement's kind of a continuation of this right here. So you could probably probably even add this in there too, and give you some other, areas of profit to go for. Like this 38 right here, 64 pips. So here's some potential targets for you on this one, and look at the 4-hour. Based on this movement right here, you could probably wait for maybe a pivot to form here, see a lower high, and bring it down to, a little bit better. Got a little area of demand right here, so it'd be nice to see this come down to, maybe around this area, 97.90 area for a better price. If you want to wait for that and get you a better price in it for that M1 trade. And looking at M2, there's really no setup on the M2, even though it's in the oversold area. That's not a good candle setup, really. It'd be nice if this would be a really bullish candle right here. It's not textbook, but again, it kind of it supports the movement that you're seeing on the M1, so it's kind of a nice support for that. And going to M3. Just out of curiosity, guys, when it's in this 4 chart setup, is it too hard for you guys to see it? Like, is it too small? Do I need to expand it? No? Okay, cool. Because it's
No, it's okay.
I like using it, but actually I'll expand this because it's easier to see. Okay, so M3, start with the daily. So no setup. Your entry would have been, okay, so that was 2 out right there, and yeah, so the entry right there. So no setup on the daily for M3 for dollar yen. 4-hour. Okay, so here's your entry. Basically, depending on how this candle closes, but it's looking like it's going to be a 2-out scenario. So here's your entry for your 4-hour to go in on the dollar yen for M3, and we'll even look at the 1-hour. Just kind of, there you go. And no, there's no setup for 1-hour M3, and that is it for my 2 pairs.
All right, nice, John. Okay, 90. No. Okay, no questions on my end. 99.54. 99. Okay, cool. All right, Jason, your turn. Any questions for John? Feedback. Nothing?
No,
no
pretty
questions.
good, John.
Cool.
Not bad for half drunk and tired. Just kidding. I'm not drunk. Come on, guys.
And then, man, you're snorting your sniff. Do you have a cold?
Nah, it's really hot in my room. I don't know. I'm not very comfortable right now. It's hot and I'm tired.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. Snorting.
Hey, stop snorting, man. Stop taking drugs,
No.
mate.
I can't help it. I'm weak. I have a weak character.
Okay, so starting off with the stock futures, the market's mostly bullish today, with the exception of the European markets, kind of flat. So it's half and half right now. But other than that, it's looking pretty good as far as buyers being in control. For news, Thursday, August 1st, currently at 3:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, have some medium impact news for the euro, for Spanish and Italian manufacturing PMI. The rest is a pretty major impact here for the pound. Lots of news for the pound from manufacturing, asset purchase, official bank rate, MPC rate statement. And then for the euro, pretty significant news for the ECB press conference. So being central bank news, probably one of the highest here in the group, and then minimum bid rate for the dollar, unemployment claims, and ISM manufacturing, and then also with the Australian dollar PPI, performance price index. And so those are the ones to look out for today. And then so let's take a look at the dollar index now. Looking at go to the weekly. So weekly, buyers overall in control. Buyers also in control of the current candle. And I don't know why my pointer's doing that. But anyways, here's our supply level here, or excuse me, demand level here at 81.18 to 81.45. And so that's our range, and then our supply level being at 84.49, 84.75. So what we're looking for here is now we have our candle here with the lower low. Need that to close and stay like that, and then create a new higher low to continuation, to have increased probability of continuation up to the upside. Before it can create that new higher high, though, it must break through this range here, at this high level at 84.75. I believe it can do that based on the overall trend, and buyers currently in control of the current candle. So continuation up to the upside, I believe, is highly probable. So with the dollar index on the weekly, definitely bullish on that. And then on the daily, pretty much the same. Overall control is with the buyers. And so here we have our candle here made a new lower low, then a higher low right here. So continuation as well with the bulls currently in control of the current candle. Highly probable continuation up to the upside. First having to break past the 82.18 level, right, which is right here on the supply level right here. And then continuation up to the upside to retest the levels here at 82.40, then right here at 83.02, and then so forth up here, on and on until it gets up to that price level to retest that. And so that's for the dollar index. And so my two pairs are, I'm going to go with the dollar CAD since we're all pretty much in this, and then also the Aussie dollar. So looking at the weekly here. So overall, buyers in control of the dollar CAD as well, in control of the current candle, and pretty much testing this tertiary trend line here. Here's our level of supply here at 103.41 to 103.64 for our current levels, and then our demand level here at 101.02 and 101.38. So continuation up to upside as well. This made a new lower low. It's a little bit of a slowdown right now with the selling pressure here. Day's not over yet, of course, so we'll have to wait for this candle to form. But if this can create a new higher low, then continuation up to the upside will continue, especially with the buyers overall in control. So with the weekly, I'm bullish on this as well. For the CAD, or excuse me, for the daily, so same thing, overall buyers in control, currently testing the secondary trend line right here. Currently at a level of demand right here at 102.54, when buyers currently in control of the current candle. So didn't create a new pivot right now, so if this can stay, if they can keep this low higher than this low, then yes, we can definitely see a continuation of the upside. So I think pretty much most of us are long this right now, so pretty much by market bias as well as continuation up to the upside based on overall movement and buyers being in control as well for the daily. And so that's for daily chart. Let's go to 4 hour. So 4 hours is actually in a downtrend, so basically here's our levels of supply right here. So price testing this level here at 103.02 or 103.01, right around here. And it's showing a little weakness with this candle here, so potential to move to the downside or is pretty probable. And so breaking out of this trend line as well here, which we'll see on the 1 hour. So continuation down to the downside to at least retest these levels before continuing back up to retest the primary trend. And so, yeah, basically bearish on the 4 hour. So for the 1 hour, So here's our primary trend line to the upside that I drew. So price basically testing, I believe we'll be testing this line here based off of the 1 hour, and so continuation back up to the upside after, create a new higher high. So this, if this can form, create a new lower low based off of this candle here, and then we need a higher low to continue on up to the upside. And so we'll have to wait and see for the next couple hours to see if it can do that. But on the short term, buyers in control, and in the long term, sellers in control. So we'll have to wait and see, and just watch movement on that, see what happens. So ultimate price speed is 103.00, which is right here, and if it can break that, then we'll see a continuation, at least retest this trend line before continuing up, or we could potentially see a failure of the primary at the primary trend line level to continue back down, continue movement downwards. And so that's for method 1. For method 2, so we're oversold, oversold just a bit, but there's no candle formations right now to go long. And so for the 4 hour, nothing for the 4 hour on stochastics or candles. For the 1 hour, overbought, but there's no candle setups as well for the 1 hour. So nothing for method 2. Method 3 on the daily. Here would have been our entry to go short here. So price is way overextended already to enter to go short. So nothing for the daily. 4 hour. Nothing for the 4 hour. Basically, here's our signal to go short here based off this candle. So it is giving you another opportunity to go short as well. So for 4 hour, this might be an okay trade. Overall trend is also down, so it might not be bad if you want to trade this on a 4 hour chart. So that's for that. And for the 1 hour, nothing on the 1 hour. Here would have been, see, our entry to go long would have been right here. Came down. We had one candle in or out, came back out, failed. So continuation here based off of the 1 hour is currently based off a long position, but nothing currently. So that's for the dollar CAD. Let's go with the Aussie dollar. Go with the weekly. So clear breakout of the primary uptrend line here. Sellers currently in control. Sellers in control based off this range here overall. So it's basically created a new low based off of here, breaking this demand level here. So continuation down from continuation to the downside is highly probable, especially based off the strength of the current candle and overall movement. So new low to break right now would be here at the 87.83 level. So that would be the next level of demand to test before continuing down, or at least testing this level right now. So right now with the weekly, I'm bearish on the Aussie dollar. For the weekly, also clear breakout of this demand level here too, at the basically 9,000 level, or 9,000 price level here. So bears currently in control on the short term and as well as the long term trend right here as well. So next price to beat 89.07, and then so far down based off the historical candle data that I pulled off of the back chart. So yeah, bearish as well on the daily. So let's check the 4 hour. Broken. Let's put it up there. And this. Okay, so here's our supply level at 9009 and our demand level here at 8923. So basically it's right in the middle of the range here. So it's basically a lot of indecision here, potentially waiting on the news on the Aussie. So, but overall trend is still down. sellers still in control of the current candles, and so continuation to the downside, I believe, is probable based off of price movement here to the downside. Also broke this low, created a new low here, so definitely in a downtrend right now. So definitely bearish for the 4-hour chart. Okay, looking at the 1 hour. So 1 hour, same thing. Overall, bears in control. Bulls in control of the current candle, but very weak candles right now. And so let me adjust this a little bit. So yeah, just a little bit of a breakout of the trend line here. However, this candle needs to finish closing. We'll have to wait for the next 20 minutes or so to see where if they can keep that price up here. If they can, then it's technically a breakout of that. Actually, let me readjust this a little bit. So if it can close above the secondary trend line, and it has to retest the primary before continuing on down to the downside. If not, it can break out and create a new high. It still has to test this level at 9009 before pushing on up to the upside. But until it does that, it's still in a downtrend, so still bearish for the 1 hour as well. And so if it can't break out of here, could potentially be an entry to go short here based off method 1 if price cannot break through this level here. So that's for the 1 hour. So method 2, let's see the daily. So we got a little bit of some indecision here based on the current candle. Still a long ways to go before the close, but if sellers can hold this price the way it is, then our next candle to look for is a bullish candle with the higher low to go long based on our Morningstar pattern and price being oversold below the 20. So we'll have to wait for the next couple of days to see how that forms, and if it can make that arrangement, then that's our signal to go long if it can break past the midpoint of the first candle. And then for 4 hour, nothing at all for the 4 hour. 1 hour, nothing for the 1 hour. So besides daily, nothing for method 2, method 3. So for method 3, here is our candle to go short, although big drop down, so basically nothing for the daily. Price is too far gone with sellers way in control of that to enter. So for the 4 hour, nothing for the 4 hour. Here was our entry to go short here. Big move down to the downside. 1 hour, nothing. So we had a signal to go long. Let's see. Here. Hang on a second. Now here's our signal to go long here. So it's basically giving you another opportunity to get in here, a little bit better price on the 1 hour. However, the overall trend is very bearish right now, so I definitely would not take that, but that is a signal to go long. So other than that, nothing else. So that's for the Aussie dollar and the dollar CAD. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Going once, going twice.
No questions for me.
No questions.
No questions. Good job.
Cool.
So no setup, right?
For the hour, for the 1 hour chart?
For any of the pairs you got.
No, not right now.
Yeah. Dean, you put yourself in private. To myself, they can't see it. You need to put to all entire audience. Dean says no worries. I need to get back myself back into that. Yeah, you have to put it on all entire audience for everyone to see, Dean. Okay. Nice. So there's nothing for you, huh?
Actually, what I did is I actually entered to go short based off this break of demand level right here because I believe that once this level was broken, that the continuation to go to continue down to the downside is 99.99% likely. So I did enter to go short based off of that. It's just that breakout pretty much.
Cool. All right, sounds good. All right, Anne, your turn.
Okay, hopefully I don't break up too much. You'll just let me know if I do. Okay, let's start off with the macro fundamentals of things. I'll just refresh this. Okay, so there's a couple of medium reports for the euro, Spanish manufacturing, Italian manufacturing, that will affect the euro in an hour's time, or actually less than that, for half an hour. And pound, the major ones, manufacturing PMI, asset purchase, official bank rate, so that will affect the pound, MPC statement as well. Minimum bid rate will affect the euro, that's quite major, and the ECB press conference, and unemployment claims. Okay, and also ISM manufacturing for the US. So they're the major ones for today, and then the rest will be, there's minor ones there, and the rest ones will be tomorrow. Yeah, let's look at the DXY. Okay, it's the end of the month, so well, end of the month for you guys, first of the month for us. So we'll look at the monthly of the DXY. What we can see right here is that sellers are pretty much in control last month and back at a good level of demand about the 81, 87. Overall, so it's still on a downtrend from here to this side, from here to here. Uptrend, slight uptrend from here to here, but this one here is on an uptrend in the this point of view right here, but overall still on a downtrend. Sellers in control, so we'll see what this month will happen. It could be either a continuation to the upside to fill up this gap right here on the monthly, or if it breaks this uptrend line here, then it will break and go further below and retest 81, 80, and even the 79 price level, since they're very good demand levels right here. But if not, then it will again also retest 83, 84, and not quite the 85 yet, but at least the 84 price areas. So that's on the monthly. Sellers were in control last month. Weekly, sellers were in control. Currently, buyers are in control. Back at the level of demand as well, but on an uptrend from this point of view, creating higher lows, higher highs. This could be a new pivot to the upside to fill up that gap right there. On the daily buyers in control today. Yesterday was a very volatile day, so it's an indecision candle we saw there. Stabilization, they didn't know whether to go to the upside or down. We retested the 81.40. Also retested at 82 and 82.20 price areas. So we'll see buyers in control at the moment. So we'll see if the buyers will push it further up for a retest to about the 82, 82.20, or drop it and retest 81.40. So but buyers at the moment, and we'll see what happens with the reports later on. Okay, so that's the DXY. Let's look at, just close this to, okay, let's take a look at the futures. Futures very good at the moment. Dow is up already 84 points, still early during the day. S&P is also up as well, and NASDAQ. And the Euro stocks are also up at the moment too. So looking good to the upside for European and and the U.S. market. So let's look at the Dow. Let's use a FXCM. So on the let's look at the monthly as well. Monthly, we can see here the buyers are very strong last month. Nice push to the upside. Blue sky territory at the moment. So the high is at 15,646. And since it's very good push by the buyers, we can see this going further to the upside as well. Next price to beat will be, of course, the high of this, the high of this 15,639, and it could easily go further up as well if it wants to. So buyers in control. On the weekly chart, still buyers in control. Last week is a stabilization. Since 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row that it pushed to the upside. Stabilization, could be a slight correction, or if not, if that doesn't want to, then buyers will still push it further back to the upside. On the daily chart, nice stabilization point right here. New higher low with a pivot right here that's formed. New higher high yesterday. Buyers in control at the moment, so there could be also more push to the upside there as well. Okay, so I'll look at the Euro yen since I just posted that in the trade alert. Okay, so let's take a look at the monthly chart. Monthly at the moment, buyers are very much in control. Okay, so this month it's already starting that buyers are in control as well. Stabilized within these 2 points right here, price areas last month. So it's on a stabilization point. I can see this now going further. May even beat the 133.80 price area, so it could easily go to about the 134. So if you look in the past, it's actually really good prices right here up to about the 135, even 136. So let's put our horizontal line here. Okay, so 135 is quite good, and then if it breaks that, then it easily goes to 138.40 area, 138.50. So they're very good suppliers. Not long to go. It will easily get to these price levels this month if it wants to. Okay, so buyers in control on the weekly. Okay, weekly chart, also buyers are in control as well. Creating higher lows, higher highs, just cleaning up the uptrend lines. Okay, so it's nice pivot right here. Could be another pivot for next week, forming right here if it finishes like this. New higher low, and then higher highs in the future. Now this high here is still lower compared to this high right here, so it's in a slight downtrend from here to here, but overall uptrend, correction, and then continuation to the upside. On the daily chart, okay, daily chart is also looking quite good. If that candle finishes like that, then that will be our new pivoting point to the upside, but I'll just put it right here for now until tomorrow's. Actually, there's also one here that formed already. So okay, so a couple days ago it formed a pivot to the upside right here, so we can see it. Slight correction right here for that news on the Eurozone yesterday. Reacted to that. Up and down, create a new low, new high, and now buyers are very strong to the upside as well. So the next price to beat will be the next pivot high right here about the 132.73, and then if it breaks that, then the highest one will be at the 133.80. So it's a very strong push now by the buyers based on fib. Let's see where it's at. Okay, fib, it's now heading towards the 50%, 131.02. First target is about the 131.40. It will easily do that today if it wants to, or even tomorrow. And then the next target will be about the 132 price area and beyond. So that's a very good trade as well. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we can already see here a nice clear breakout higher highs happening here, higher lows as well. So buyers in control on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour chart, also very nice as well. New higher high right here formed, higher low. Next step will be a new higher low somewhere sometime, but buyers are very much in control as well. Okay, M2, let's got the monthly M2. M2 overbought, but that doesn't mean anything, no setup. Weekly on M2, heading towards the overbought area, but currently there's no setup. Daily, oversold area, just heading towards the 50% now, but there's no setup either. 4 hours, no setup. 1 hour, overbought, but currently there's no setup. M3 monthly, it's still to the upside, so this was the entry and still to the upside, no exit yet. Slight gap between the 8 and the 10, but still very strong, so wish we caught that. And based on the monthly, we've been in the money today. Okay, weekly. Okay, weekly, there's no setup, still to the upside as well. Actually, that was the entry to go short, exit short, so it's now to the long side based on the weekly. On the daily chart, still to the short side, nicely closing the gap, so it breaks through, then another day to exit. 4 hour chart, entry here to the upside now. 1 hour chart, entry there, and also to the upside as well. Okay, the other pair I'm going to look at is the euro against the pound. I've got the monthly as well. Monthly, as we can see here at the moment, it's on the downtrend from here to here. Uptrend in this formation, but overall still on the downtrend. Needs to beat this high right here and these highs here to go further. But what we can see as well is that there's a clear breakout of the primary downtrend line, so there could be now a continuation with buyers very much in control last month. So there could be more push to the upside there based on the monthly. On the weekly chart, clear breakout there of the primary downtrend. Buyers in control as well last week. Actually this week, last week buyers, this week quite strong already for the buyers. Daily, clear breakout of that primary downtrend line, and still buyers very much in control. New high created today, and day's not over yet, so they may still push further up depending on the news in the Eurozone. 4-hour chart, nice stabilization happening here at the moment, but overall buyers in control. 1-hour chart, stabilization happening here, new higher low, next step higher high, since it's on an uptrend on the 1 hour. M2 monthly, M2 overbought area, but no setup at this point. Weekly, overbought, but also no setup. Daily, overbought as well, no setup at this point. But if it finishes like this, tomorrow we'll see it could be a setup, but at the moment nothing. 4-hour chart, overbought but no setup. 1 hour, no setup. M3, monthly, okay, entry was here, still to the upside as well based on the monthly, no exit strategy there yet. Weekly, still to the upside as well. Daily, also to the upside. Big gap now between the 8 and the 10, so some form of correction will happen very soon. And 4 hourly also to the upside, still no exit. And the 1 hour. Okay, opportunity to go short now. So we'll see its level of supply. Could be some form of a slight correction and continuation up. Okay, so the setup, there's nothing on the euro pound. The setup is on the euro yen, which if you took it, we're in the money at the moment. Any questions with these pairs?
No questions.
No questions.
Pretty good. I think there's potential trades right there. Awesome. Okay, there's no questions. Then we'll wrap it up then.
Cool.
And then Dane you'll do it some other time so you can get back into it doing M2 and M3. Okay. Sounds good. All right. All right, guys. Then we'll see you tomorrow, and have a good one.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.